Hello and welcome to the arcade. There is one secret to be successful at anything in life, and that is consistency. As long as you keep trying, no matter how slowly it happens, you can always make consistent progress towards your goals, as long as you consistently attempt to do so. Success is not about those days where you make a ton of progress all at once. It's about the weeks, months, or even years where you make consistent progress day by day. Getting in shape is not about one super long, exhausting day at the gym. It's about going to the gym consistently every week. And getting healthy is not about eating better for one day or even a week. It's about eating a little bit better every single day. Success is about not giving up. This can be extremely hard though, because most times our biggest dose of burnout comes just at the precipice of a breakthrough. And while I hope this video can encourage you, I want to give you an example of a big mistake that I made in the hopes that it won't happen to you. This has to do with my YouTube channel. In June of 2023, I decided that I was going to make and upload one video per week to my YouTube channel, which typically focuses on video games with some music production thrown in there, as well as some other random stuff. And for a while, I was doing great. I stayed on track for months. And while not all of my videos performed super well, I was steadily gaining subscribers. A couple of months into this, I realized that the subscriber growth was exponential, but a couple of things happened that derailed my schedule. It was around September or so that I got behind in making videos, and I went a couple weeks without one, and that turned into longer and longer stretches until making videos just wasn't a regular thing I was doing anymore. And when I look back at the analytics, all signs point to the fact that I was on the verge of a huge breakthrough, at least in subscriber count. If I had not stopped at that point in September, if I had just kept pushing through, I believe my channel would have surpassed my goal of 1,000 subscribers in the year of 2023. And now that we have that negative example out of the way, let's talk about a better one. In or around the spring of 2019, I decided that I wanted to start writing science fiction. One night while my wife was out of town, I spent 8 straight hours writing what eventually became a 14,000-word short story. At first, I was very proud of it and proud of myself for accomplishing something like that. But when I went back to reread what I had written, it made little to no sense. The general idea was there, but a lot of the scenes didn't connect to each other, the dialogue felt very forced and unoriginal, and it was generally very low-quality writing. So after that, I decided that for my next book, I was going to take a different approach. For the next 5 months, every day while I was at work during my lunch break, I would take the whole hour to write. I typically never exceeded my 1-hour limit, and I always stuck to the writing schedule. Monday through Friday, from 12 to 1, I would write some of my book. And after 5 months, I had written a 52,000-word science fiction novel and even had time to write multiple drafts and edit the final draft. The difference between a 14,000-word short story that makes no sense and a 52,000-word novel that I could be proud of was just the consistency of sticking to my goal of writing for an hour a day during the week versus just pumping something out all in one evening. And here's another good example. I received Elden Ring for Christmas in 2022. I started playing it on January 6th of 2023. And at that time, my wife was pregnant with our second child and was due to give birth in March of 2023. I knew that once the baby came, I may not have much time for gaming for a while, so I decided that even though in the past I'd never been able to stick to, much less complete, a From Software game before, I was going to beat Elden Ring before my son was born. And I didn't have to play for super long sessions, gaming for hours at a time. I just took my time with it. I played for an hour a day for about 2.5 months, and I beat Elden Ring with 81 hours of game time and was able to finish it a week before my son was born. Even though I'd never really tried or committed to playing a Dark Souls or Souls-like game before, I was able to beat Elden Ring just by consistently playing every night for around 1 hour or so. And another gaming example would be Hearthstone and my journey to Legend rank. Back in 2014, my little brother introduced me to the game of Hearthstone. I wasn't very interested in card games back then, but the Warcraft theme of Hearthstone definitely intrigued me. And around that same time, I saw a lot of streamers and StarCraft players that I liked start switching over to Hearthstone. So I decided to try it out, and I was almost immediately hooked. Now, I'm not the best at card games, but I do find them very fun these days, even if I lose a lot. I try to take as much learning experience from each game as I can. Now, back then, I never hit the legend rank in Hearthstone. I would buy packs from every expansion, and I bought all the single-player expansions too. I would copy meta decks from sites like Hearth Arena and HS Replay, but I just never got there. And the real reason I never got there was, you guessed it, a lack of consistency. I was just not playing enough games per day to ever reach the legend ranks. I would play, win a couple games, then go on a losing streak, get upset, and turn the game off. And even on the days where I went on a winning streak, I would stop after like 4 games or so because I didn't want to get tilted and end on a loss. During the Grand Tournament expansion, I did come the closest I'd ever been to reaching Legend. It was the last day of the season and I was running the dreaded Secret Paladin deck. I took that one day to play as many games as I could, and I reached my highest rank ever, rank 3, and then clicked to start my next game, but it was too late. The game restarted and I saw the message that the season was reset. After that, I lost pretty much all my motivation to achieve the legend rank in Hearthstone. I would just play for fun after that, a little bit of ladder, some arena, and a lot of tavern brawls and single player. Now, I don't know if it was nostalgia or just a need for a good, fun, new card game, but something recently pulled me back into Hearthstone. And I think the last time I played was back in 2020. So here I was, 4 years later, totally out of the loop, but with a newfound drive to finally achieve legend rank in Hearthstone. I started off with one of the loner decks that Blizzard gives to new or returning players to help them catch up. I tried out the Plague Death Knight, then switched to Sludge Warlock, and I picked up the Flood Paladin list as well. It took a little while, but I finally caught back up to the meta, understanding the cards that were in play in most decks, and then finally understanding how my own deck was meant to be played. I started playing every day in the month of May, and it wasn't long before I was in Diamond ranks. I was using HS Replay to keep track of my win-loss ratio and watch replays of my games so I could learn from my losses. And near the end of the season, I finally did it. After playing every day in the month of May, I finally achieved my 10-year-long dream of hitting Legend in Hearthstone. And it wasn't due to one long day of playing and winning. It was because I played every single day for the month. It was because I remained consistent with my playtime. As long as your deck has a winning percentage over 50%, you can get there. You just have to play and keep playing. You just need consistency. Whatever it is that you're working at, whatever goal you have that you want to achieve, I know you can do it. All you have to do is keep doing it. That's all. Thanks for watching.